Today is the final day of my remembrance of our filming with the BBC of the world's strictest parents that happened 10 years ago this week. So this is day 8. It's Monday, and it's the day that everybody left and we parted ways. So I think to some degree you look forward to the end of the filming because you're like, whoa, it's done. That was a big thing. But then to some degree, when it's something like this, when you're forming relationships with people, you don't look forward to it. You feel like, oh no, we're just getting started. Let's not end now, right? And I definitely felt both of those feelings. I didn't like having every bit of my life filmed, but I also really loved getting to know the whole camera crew and James and Hannah and developing relationships there. So this day was kind of a short day, and so I'm going to spend some time talking about the day and then talking about what has happened after. So what's happened in the last 10 years, to the best of my knowledge anyway. So before that, though, I just want to remind everybody that we've had this, what we're calling a support special, going on throughout these whole 8 days. And today is the last day of the support special. And on that special, you can get the support group where you can ask questions to me or hear me answer other people's questions. And they're all recorded and sent out to you for your convenience. And you can hear all the past archived questions that have been going on since 2011. So for the past 8 years, for $1 for this month, if you want to do that. And then there's an extreme discount on the implementation course, which is our online course, which is very comprehensive and has videos and audios and assignments and takes you through the process of implementing self-government in your home. Or if you want the speedy, more power-packed coaching type approach, easier to get husband and wife on the same page, that kind of thing, we have an event coming up July 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's a 3-day live event, and there is an extreme discount that is also on that right now. So we'll put some links in the comments, so if you want to go ahead and check out those things until the end of today, then you can see those. Anyway, so this day was really kind of a special day. So James came upstairs and he decided that he was going to have his natural look. So, he was really concerned over the whole course of the thing, as we all probably were a little bit, about what are we going to look like on camera? And I got to say, I probably needed to learn a few things about makeup back in those days. I probably still need to. I remember being on a news program a few years following the show, and someone came up to me, a makeup person, and they're like, do you want to use our makeup service before you go on the program next time? And I was thinking, uh-oh, that's not very great on camera. But anyway, I just go with the flow, whatever I do. That's just my personality. But anyway, James was trying the whole time he was on the show to just look perfect each time. And on this final day, he was like, you know what? I think I'm okay with myself, and I'm not going to go to all that effort, maybe applying makeup and things. And he's like, and you know what? I'm not going to have these pierces anymore. I'm going to take them out, and I'm not going to do the gauges. And he just made this statement, and I was kind of blown away, actually. And Hannah allowed the camera crew to film her without her hair being done. And at first she wasn't sure about that, and then she's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, finally you just get a little comfortable after all these days of them seeing you everywhere, and and all of a sudden, them pulling their earphones on, and I'm like, what's wrong? Oh, somebody's in the bathroom, and it's like, oh no, they forgot to turn off their thing their microphone when they went to the bathroom. I mean, we were completely exposed, every single one of us, and that's okay. I mean, I had nothing to hide, and nobody was hiding anything. Everyone was just being themselves, and it was a really beautiful experience. So anyway, James and Hannah, I felt like were pretty brave on that last day. So we had some conversations with them, and both of them were really sad to go. And, just kind of really expressed that they wished in a way that they didn't have to go. I mean, I'm sure they wanted to see their family, but they wanted to have more of what they were experiencing in our home. And so it was a touching time for us. Well, we decided that it would be really great for them to remember that one time where we all cried together and where we all just had our initial super strong bond that happened. And that was the time that we did the music recital as a family for them. And the children all sang. And so Quinn and Paige decided that they would sing Homeward Bound to James and Hannah as they were leaving. And so as they were leaving, everyone was already a little bit teary. I hope you can hear me. There's a really loud car passing by. Anyway, so they were already a little bit teary because we talked about, how, well, you can't stay. We wish you could. You can come back on a holiday anytime that you want. But I mean, obviously you have to go home, you have family there and we can't keep you. And of course they love their family, of course. So, they wanted to see them again, but they also just really liked being there, which made me feel good. I was glad they did enjoy their experience. After 2 hard days, they ended up having 6 wonderful days, a few little hard moments here and there, but it was just beautiful. I mean, I could cry thinking about it. So as they were going and we were all kind of holding back the tears anyway, all of a sudden Spencer started crying. And I think it was the second that Quinn and Paige started singing Homeward Bound. Spencer loves that song. And it was just this reminder of when you get there, we'll still be with you and don't forget us. And I could cry right now just thinking about it. Because, in a way that song is kind of about dying in a way. I mean, you could apply it that way. And it was like this separation that was happening when we never knew if we would see each other again. I'm sorry, that really chokes me up now just thinking about it, but that's what we were experiencing. And we were wondering if all these people, Hannah and James, as well as all these camera crew people, which we had grown to love and to just take on as family members, if there would ever be a time when we would hug them again and when we would see them again. Wow, I didn't plan on crying. Anyway, and it was so beautiful. So Spencer started crying, and then we all cried, and it was like a tear fest. And the whole goal was to get them out to the car with the camera crew and to have them be gone. And it was a really intense moment because it was like we didn't want to break away from each other. And the world saw this when they saw the program. I mean, it was honest and it was true, and no one in any of the other programs had experienced this kind of anguish, this kind of heartache. I think everyone was, a lot of people that did the programs maybe were just checking it off the list, but our family, we just really were loving them. And so anyway, we get them out to the car. They drive away. We're trying to wipe our tears. Lennon and Porter did not stop crying for a long time. I mean, it might have been an hour before they stopped crying because they just had grown to love everyone, the camera crew and James and Hannah so much. Especially, there was one member of the camera crew, Dave, who oftentimes was hanging out with London and Porter when we were being interviewed and things like that. And I think they just started to feel like he was their uncle, that he was their good friend, and they didn't want to see him go. And so it was just so beautiful. Anyway, so the main camera guy, Rick, he put his camera down, and he was the one filming the whole end scene, and he said, "Oh no," and we all said, "What, Rick?" And we're drying our eyes, and he all of a sudden reaches up and he dries his eyes. He's like, "I have no idea what I just filmed." He's like, "Cardinal rule number 1 for camera people, the cameraman can't cry." He's like, "We can't cry because even if other people crying, we have to get the angle. We have to know what we're filming." And he says, "And now I just filmed something and I have no idea what I just filmed. I just pointed my camera and hoped for the best." And he was just so choked up too, and that tells you how that grief of separation at that time was really real, and that he could feel it as well, and it was beautiful. And so we told the camera crew, we said, "Well, okay, we'll be praying for you." And they said, "You know what, we know you will." And I said, of course we will pray for you, because we want this to be the very best it can be. We want it to help people. That's why we did it. And they said, "We know." And so the director of the program, Ben, he said, "Okay, well, I'm going to go work on this for 6 weeks." And I said, "Well, then every day as a family for 6 weeks, and individually too, we will be praying for you." And I think he was really touched by that. And after a few weeks that they'd been gone, I got this just spontaneous call from Ben, and he said, "Hey, Nicholeen, I've been looking at a lot of pictures of the Peck family, and I just was thinking of you, and we had a great conversation." And he said, "You're praying for me, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, of course. I told you that we would." And he said, "I know." He said, and I'm not sure if these were the exact words, but this is what I remember. He said, "I don't know how to explain it. I've never been on a program like this before, but it's practically editing itself." And I was so happy, because I knew at that moment that whatever was going to be shown on there, at least for the most part, I mean, it had to go through lots of sets of eyes and stuff, but that it would hopefully be something good. And because you never know. When you put out yourself like that and you say, "Okay, well, film my life, film who I am," you never know if they're going to be true to who you are. And I have to set this straight. There was this statement made by the narrator, and I don't know where they got the statement from, but it wasn't from us. But there was one statement in the whole show that I felt like wasn't true, and it said that that people in our religion feel like parents need to have absolute control. And I was like, I wouldn't phrase it that way. That's not exactly right. But do we feel like it's our job to be parents? Yes, and to honor and magnify that particular role because God gave us children. Yes, absolutely. And so do we do our best? Yes, but is every parent that I know perfect? Am I perfect? No, absolutely not. I'm learning all the time, just like everyone else is. So anyway, but we share everything that we can and where we're at and what we're learning, and hopefully try to help other people improve as well. So I wanted to just take a minute and talk about the improvements that have happened in the lives of people. Now, I don't know everything, and they can make their own Facebook Lives and tell and correct me if I'm wrong, but I do know that the camera crew got some really great awards for the program. And right after it aired, they contacted me from their office and said, "Just so you know, your episode is the most watched episode we've ever had of this program." And it was a wildly popular program at the time. And so that was amazing. I felt like that showed something. And, you know, and they said, and your program was so calm too. That's the thing. And so we got contacted actually for multiple years after that, asking us if we could refer people who were just like us to the program. And I just didn't feel comfortable. There was just no one that jumped out to my mind. And I thought, I just really can't. So it sounds like they would have made other episodes in my own backyard, you know, had I thought of someone. But you know, one thing I realized was this. As much as we didn't want to do the program at the beginning, because if you'll remember, I mentioned we didn't want to. And that's true. And then after a lot of thought and prayer, we realized we should do the program, and that maybe it could help somebody in their parenting and with their family, because that's a ministry that we have in our family, to just help families be happy. And I know we were the perfect family to be on the program because of all the years we had done foster care and the experiences that we had had prior. And I couldn't, quite frankly, pick another family that I knew that had had those similar type of experiences that we had had. It was like we were fitted perfectly to that program. And that's all I can say is that's how it goes. Sometimes you go through your life and you don't know why certain things are happening, and then there's something you're supposed to do, and you're just some random family from a kind of a podunk town who does something that seems extraordinary, when in reality it's just our regular life. And I think that's how it is for all people who make a good impact in the world. And maybe if there's a message that you can take from all of this, it's that who you are and who you're becoming each day as you interact with your family members, with your people at work, with the people that you associate with. You're becoming someone. You're becoming something strong and powerful, and that person is destined to do more than you ever thought that they would do. And that certainly is the story of the lives of the Peck family. And so if I could just tell you, we had calls for multiple camera crew members following the program. We've, you know, every once in a while, you know, peeked in at their lives to see what's happening, and everyone seems happy, and they seem to be doing so much good. So I look at the things that they've accomplished and the names that they've made for themselves, and I feel honored to have been a small part of that journey for them, because they're really motivated, incredible people. So my children have grown. Quinn is married, and he's graduated with his bachelor's degree, and he started a family, and that's beautiful, because he's going to be now embarking on the greatest journey ever, which is family. And that was certainly something that James articulated so well at the end of the program. So when they took James and Hannah home, and they must have asked him some question like, you know, what will you remember? What's your big takeaway about this? And he said, family. It's all about family. And that, when I saw that, I start crying, because it is all about family. Everything else is just stuff, but family you have forever. Even after we're gone, that's who we've got on the other side of this world, is we've got those family bonds. And I was so glad that he went home dedicated to strengthening and improving the bonds with his own family. And I think Hannah wanted to do the same thing. I know especially with Tanisha, she did. Sorry, I'm crying like a baby. Anyway, I can't even hardly see now, so there we go. But James, he got it. He really got it, and he's smart. He's a smart boy. I can't call him a boy now. He's a man. He was almost a man then, but he is a smart man, and I knew would do great things and would be able to build good relationships. And I think he's done that, which has been fantastic. Before I get to James and Hannah, I'm going to just finish the update on my own family because I got a little distracted on the family topic. But James, or not James, so Quinn, he's married, starting his own family. And Paige, she is at university. She's working on her bachelor's degree in music. I guess I should say this. So, we're kind of musical, and they sang at the end of the program. Well, Quinn, you know how he sang barbershop? Well, all the way through university, he sang music, and he was in an a cappella group called Accolade, and he just stayed true to that. It's just part of his heart, part of his gifts, his talents. And same with Paige. She is a music major, and she's working on that degree, and it's grueling, and she's memorizing songs like crazy. She told me, she's like, this semester I have to memorize 32 songs, and they're all in different languages. And I'm like, woo, go girl. And she's doing all these other things as well, learning all the stuff with it. But anyway, so she's growing up. She's 21, and she's learning and growing and doing incredible things. And London is 17, and she's going to be starting university classes this next year as well. So she's not declaring herself fully graduated. She's technically graduated from homeschool, but she wants a tassel that says 2020 on it. So she's going to declare herself graduated next year, even though she's going to be doing college courses this year, and she's technically done. So I guess she'll have a whole year of graduation or something. Anyway, and then Porter is 15. And he's already taken his college entrance exams for his first time. He is, or I should say university, if you're in the UK, we use different words for different things. And he is learning and growing and playing soccer, and he's taller than I am, and he's just his own young man. He's really incredible, and he's learning how to drive. He's got his learner's permit. So if you live near us, watch out. He's on the roads. Anyway, James and Hannah, so sorry that there is a machine in the background. Maybe they'll stop it here. James and Hannah have made some incredible progress in their lives as well. So Hannah, she went back home, and I'll always remember I think it was a Monday, the Monday after she went home, so it was a week after they left. And she sent me an email, and she said, Nicholeen, I went to church. So she's Catholic, I think Roman Catholic even. I'm not sure, but I think so, because all the services were done in Latin, I believe. Anyway, and so she said, I went to church, and I took Tanisha to church because she cannot turn out like me. And so I've decided to do that. And my heart was so warmed. I thought, good for her. I was so thrilled that she would think that her little family needs something, needs more strength than it currently had, and that she was going to turn to God. And so that was beautiful to see that in action. Anyway, and I don't know how long she stayed going or if she's still going. I didn't pry into that part of her life, but that was a beautiful thing that she shared. And I know that she was focused on a good mom, as she said. And she's contacted us, every so often with little updates on her life. But she is a mom of multiple children now, not just little Tanisha, who is not so little. She would be like about 11 years old almost now. Anyway, but she has multiple children, and she is doing the best job she can, which is what any mom can do, right? Is the best job she can, but she's trying to do well and give them something better than she would have been able to give them. And so to me, that is a success story for her. She dedicated herself to that. Now, she might have had a few bumps in the road along the way, and I don't know what all of them are. We're all human, that happens. but from what I can see, she's constantly trying to improve herself and to improve her family any way that she can. And to me, that means that she got it too, that it really is all about family, and that family is where your greatest success is. And so that was just beautiful there. And then James, it actually just so happens, sent me a message just the other day, just yesterday. But we've had a few communications here and there over the years. When Spencer and I were on one of our trips over to England, we were able to meet up with James when he was in university. Oh, I'll never forget that rainy night. We wanted to see a little bit of the town where he lived. We went walking around. It was pouring rain. I'm like, what are we doing? And he was probably thinking, what are we doing? But we went out to dinner with him, and we saw him and caught up on his life, and he was able to share with us what his goals were and how they were going and what was happening with his family. And anyway, and so we kind of touched base there, which was really nice. We tried to meet up with Hannah too, but at that point we didn't know where she had moved, because she had moved multiple places, and so we weren't able to get a hold of her. She wasn't answering on Facebook at the time or anything like that, and so that was it. But James has done what he set out to do, and that's the coolest thing too, is that he set out to improve his relationships with his family, and they look very close from what I can tell. And he wanted to be a designer, and he wanted to finish his university studies, his schooling. He did it. And that wasn't even on the radar when he came to our house. So I was so glad that we could be part of helping him make a plan for where he was going next. That was just so exciting for me. So Spencer and I were like, it's not good enough that we just do a show right now, right here, and go, oh, you get this little experience where we live, and you get to see this different way of life, but okay, bye. No, just like with all of my foster children, I wanted to have conversations about where do you go from here, because this is just now a start to something else. And he really went. He did. Again, probably had a few bumps along the way. We all do. He is taking care of his body so much better than he used to be, and that's so good, because he was into a lifestyle that involved a lot of substances, stuff like that, and I remember him telling me years ago, okay, you know what, I'm done with all of that, and I was just so happy. So not only did he achieve his educational goals, he's improved his life, his health, he has found companionship in his life and has a partner that he loves. He has improved the relationship with his family. I mean, he truly has just become an incredible man. And so I'm so happy for him. Still just such a smart guy and accomplishing so many things. So anyway, that's kind of what's happened since. So we've had, I mean, everybody's grown and changed in 10 years, right? I've grown and changed. I've written books that I never thought I would write, spoken places around the world that I never thought I would go, had far less camping time some years than I should have had, because I was out serving and doing and speaking other places around the world. But we still maintain in the Peck family. We live in the same house. We're growing the same gardens. Our fruit trees are bigger. We pull weeds. We work together. We talk as a family. We have our family meetings. We still know how to disagree appropriately with each other and to love and accept each other. But we're growing all the time, just like everybody else is. So I guess to me, this whole experience was about love and about purpose and about family. And when I look back at that 10 years ago, I think, look what happened to all of us. Purpose, family. There was one of the camera guys who said, Nicholeen, if I have a family like yours, I'd have a family. I'd get married and have a family. And I'm like, you can. You can. Anyone can. It just takes deliberate action. And you know what? He has a beautiful family. And so I'm so excited for him. And I'm sure he did it without my help completely and entirely on his own, but still, the fact that he wanted to have that for his life meant something to me at that time as well. So anyway, we just love them. They're all our friends forever, even though the only one that we have seen since is James. Even though we've been to England multiple times, we just can't seem to connect up with everyone. But hopefully in the future, who knows? Who knows? But our home is always open to them for any holidays that they want to come and have with us in the little town of Tooele. So, which is not on the way to anywhere. but anyway, still. I appreciate you sharing these 8 days with me. I know that we've taken this particular little section of this episode a little long, but I wanted you to hear what had happened with everyone and where we were now. And I guess if I could say where I am now, because I feel like I was somewhat the center of all of it. I am dedicated. I've given my whole life for my family and for strengthening other families. And it's just going to keep happening as long as I'm needed to do that. That's what I do. And it's an honor and a blessing. And I'm juicing everywhere. Anyway, it's an honor to help people with the most important thing, and that's their family relationships, and to create lasting and healing and loving relationships. So where do we go from here? We just keep going, and we just keep helping one person at a time and loving one person at a time. And that's all we can ever do. That is the way that people find happiness and freedom. And that's what we've tried to do in our family and will continue to do. So if you need any support, I mentioned some things at the beginning of this little live stream, that we have a support special. $1 if you want to be on the support group for this next month, and that's super cheap. Anyway, and then we have some support specials on the implementation course, some support specials on our next 3-day training, where you can come and be trained by the Peck family on how to implement self-government in your life and in your home. And we'd love to help anyone who needs the help. So anyway, thank you for sharing these 8 days with me, for the tears, which now I can't even speak clearly because I've been crying. But and thanks for all the work that you're doing in your families, because the more that people become strong in their homes, the freer and more loving our societies become, which is absolutely necessary during these times. God bless you all, and have a great day.